Okay, I'm going to take it upon myself to do a video here to talk about something about Sea of Thieves related, and that is PVE dedicated servers. Guess what? It will not happen. Before I get into this video, let me just say one thing. Make sure to stick around to the end because there's something that somebody said online that I actually really do agree with, and I'm going to address that near the end of this video. But right now, I want to address those individuals right now who are so adamant that Sea of Thieves requires a PvE server in comparison to a PvP, PvE, VE, VE, VP, PvP servers that they already have. I'm going to be very straight up with you. It's not going to happen. And the reason why is because you're going to ruin the experience, or you're going to take away the experience that Sea of Thieves was generally built upon. And that is an open world with an unknowing of what will happen regardless of when you sail. Now, I'm not going to say that the PvP encounters have not been bad. There have not been some very bad ones, some very salty ones, some very inappropriate ones. We all have that. In every single game that's out there that allows PvP instances, you're always going to have situations where you're going to meld and integrate and interact and slap around some assholes who are in the game who just shouldn't be there. It's always going to be present and prevalent in any game that we play, specifically if there is a player versus player aspect to it. Sea of Thieves has tried to bring forth as close to the true pirate experience that we all can actually kind of fathom about. Obviously, we're not in the golden age of piracy. We don't know how it was back in the day. But the way that I look at it back in the day, because when I was doing the true pirate history legend videos, can't believe I can't remember the name of them, the True Pirate Legend videos, which you guys can find the playlist right here if you'd like to take a look at them and give me your opinion. But when I was doing them, a lot of individuals during that time always had the anticipation or the description of when you see a ship in the distance, you don't know what the actual concept of that ship is, whether it's a trade ship, whether it's a pirate, whether it's a hunter, whether it's a pirate hunter, regardless of what it was, there was always an unknown to the ship in the distance. Now, when it comes to Sea of Thieves, I feel they really portrayed that feeling very well, specifically in a pirate environment world. The concept being is that you're a pirate, you're trying to get loot, you're trying to get whatever it is you can potentially get. That is the whole general concept of it. Sea of Thieves is an open world pirate simulated world. The concept being is that when you see a ship in the distance, you don't know what the actual expectations of that ship will be. Whether they're coming here to hunt you, whether they're going to sail by, whether they're going to help you, whether they're alliance, regardless of what it is. My whole concept of going from the game and going to a dedicated PvE concept, you're taking away so much of the game. Now, there are some players out there who would love to just play without the fear, concern, or worry about somebody else coming on in and stealing everything and just ruining the whole experience for them. Listen, I've done situations like this. I've had situations like this when I was starting out in the game where if I'm solo, because the majority of the time I am solo, and I've given so many tips and tricks for solo players on how to get better at the game, but also things to look out for. For example, as a solo player, your intention, don't stack loot. Sell frequently, sell often. Because the whole concept there is that as a solo player, you're a more susceptible risk to lose everything when you have either a duo or a brigantine or a galleon in the distance coming for you. So my whole intention always, specifically as a solo player, is sell frequently. Don't wait to get the 5 stars and stack and stack and stack and stack. Don't wait to do 3 forts in a row and stack and stack and stack so you can take a picture for social media. If you lose everything, guess what? That is your own doing. And the whole concept of PvE then just takes away the risk of the game. I think that's one reason why Sea of Thieves is so good. There is that risk in the game. There's always been that risk in the game because that risk is what pirates also were risking in the real world, where you were uncertain of how the ship in the distance was going to be. In my opinion, I feel Rare has done a great job in integrating all the real world aspect of pirating, and they put it into a video game, and I think it works tremendously well. Don't get me wrong, when I first started the game, I'm an original 2018 player. I started the game when it originally came out. I was petrified of PvP. I didn't like it. I hated it. However, over a period of time, when I was done with my solo plays, I decided, hey, listen, I'm going to take the hour I have left in gameplay and just do a PvP session because this is a world you have to get comfortable in. When you take the risk out of the game, it's like you're going into extreme easy mode with the game, and that's something that's a little bit not appealing to a lot of players. Not only that, it's an unfair advantage because if you're now in PvE, you don't have that risk anymore of individuals coming for you. You can just stack money and money and money. Like, you're stacking money and there's no purpose or rhyme or reason for it other than obviously cosmetics, which has been a Sea of Thieves thing anyways. Everything is cosmetic because we like to look pretty. The biggest thing that you need to take away from Sea of Thieves is that it's an open world concept where a ship in the distance, a player ship in the distance, can be either detrimental for you, can be beneficial, or it can help you down the line by being in an alliance. You just don't know. And that's, I think, one of the most appealing things about the game is that unknown status. You do a Fort of the Damned, you have potential for individuals to come in to try to steal that away from you. You do a fort, that's not something necessarily appealing nowadays, but that's still something that people will be like, hey, this guy's doing this, let's go over there and have some fun. You're doing the Fleet of the Damned, you're doing ghost events, you're doing the Athena missions. There's so many missions out there that always provide that form of risk. And I think that form of risk is what really people enjoy because there's a lot of unknowing with it. Because if somebody decides to attack you, guess what? If you've managed to fight back and you sink them, you've won, you've achieved something at that point in time. You have held your ground. But just by doing these, stopping here at this island, stopping at that island, stopping there, stopping here, and having no rhyme or concern about getting attacked, that's kind of a pain in the ass in my opinion, because it just makes the fun, it takes the fun out of the game. Again, the game has been developed as an open world sailing concept that any ship in the distance can be your downfall or can be a benefit to you. It all depends on the situation that's surrounding that. And that, I think, is actually a really great thing. They've done a great job at bringing that forward into a video game. If you're going to play Sea of Thieves, you have to understand that there's always going to be a risk with you encountering PvP. That is just how it is. As long as people understand that, they'll get a better understanding that if that should happen, well, great. That's just, at least it wasn't a surprise, you know what I mean? But that's just the whole gist of it. You can even have PvP, and then PvE decides to be like, hey, I want to get involved in this too. It's just really fun, and it adds for a different type of storytelling, specifically in a game that's focused around storytelling. Every single sale will be different than the rest. And I think that's one of the most important things, specifically when it comes to encountering new individuals. And if you take that PvP aspect away, then it's just the same old thing you're doing over and over and over and over and over again. I have said before, Sea of Thieves is a repetitive game. Sea of Thieves can be very repetitive when it comes to the missions you continuously do, to just chasing money, chasing loot, chasing that. But the thing that's different about it is that PvP experience, because you can meet specific individuals, such as characters or any type of individuals on the seas. Again, I'm not laying claim that meeting toxic people or meeting individuals that shouldn't be on the seas is good for the product. Not in any way. This is why there's a report a player function, and we do recommend using that when you meet individuals that just take the fun away, that obviously go against the rules, take away, be very offensive, anything of that nature. Then there's report a player. But again, that PvP aspect is what makes the game unique. And taking that away, you just do, how I'll put it, is like MMO missions where they're the exact same thing over and over again, and it's just repetitive nature. Now, I will say, if those of you stuck by the end, first and foremost, thank you. But there is somebody who online, Captain Falcor, very well-known face of the Sea of Thieves community. He's a beautiful face. I love his face. I want to pull his beard sometimes and call him Jimmy. But the thing he actually mentioned was actually a great idea. And that idea was simply as this. Take the opportunity to do a PvE arena. You're taking individuals who can apply, just as we're doing with the PvP encounters right now in the Hourglass, where you can literally activate that, then you look for PvP encounters. Well, this one will be something similar, but it's a PvE encounter, and it takes you to an arena where you're taking on waves and waves of PvE encounters. And I think that's actually a really great idea, because the first wave can be 2 skelly sloops, second wave can be a skelly sloop and a galleon, third wave can be 2 galleons and a megalodon. Fourth wave is 2 galleons and a kraken. Like, there's a lot of different variations that you can do, specifically when it comes to the type of AI that you can fight against. But this time you're doing it in an arena that's controlled, that you explore waves and waves of. Again, doing a full empty world with just PvE encounters, it's going to take away from your experience. And I know a lot of people are like, but I'm going to enjoy it more. You're going to get bored with it, because it's just the same thing over and over again. That's how I feel about it. But again, the game was designed with the concept of having PvP in there and the unknown. That's something I think a lot of people need to understand. The game has been designed to focus on the unknown. You see a ship in the distance, you don't know if that ship's going to be good or bad or not even going to care about you. But I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't seem to focus on. It's the unknown that sells the player, and I think that's the biggest aspect that I think a lot of people need to understand. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. Do you enjoy PvP or PvE specific? Do you enjoy all of it? What is your biggest takeaway from the game in itself? Are you somebody that rathers the PvE concept? And I'm not saying that your concern is not valid in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that from a veteran player's point of view, there are certain aspects in the game that you will negate when you go to a PvE aspect. And I think that's one thing that I think a lot of people they don't care about. They just want the PvE because they don't want to get continuously cucked by individuals. And that's fine. I get it. I was in the same boat. I got cucked so many times by individuals who were just so much better than me. And I'm still not the best at the game. However, I can hold my own at times now. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is that you just need to learn to hold your own. Learn, implement PvP, get in some PvP. If you lose, you lose. Make sure to sell beforehand, because that way you've made money in the day and you're not going to lose anything if you go to a PvP approach. But the only way for you to get better is to activate PvP. Go into it, fight, see what you can do, and you never know what you can get out of it. Thank you all for watching. Please do me a favor, hit a sub to the channel and that like button. Leave a comment down below. It helps out tremendously with the algorithms, because I know all of you, surprisingly, you really want my Sea of Thieves videos. So I'll probably be bringing some of those back as well. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about PvP, VE, VP, PP, VE? We'll add a Z in there too if you need. But regardless, what do you guys feel about it? Do you feel that it's a good thing to implement a dedicated PvE, dedicated PvP, which we have now with obviously the hunting mechanic, or should we just leave it as is? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and from me to you, make sure to heal. Please heal and safe sailings.